It's an absolute game changer for us, a wicked investment.
So today me and Darren are down in Bristol to set up a 2-camera interview.
We're laying down the foundations for the future. That paint was in a bad state. Hello and welcome back to another week in my life. My name is Dennis and I run Menace Media, a video production company based in Northamptonshire. We're back in the office after my couple of weeks away traveling across Europe with my partner and our dogs. It's actually the second week back. Last week was a super short week because of the bank holiday Monday, but it was also my first week back, which was just mental. I tried my best to keep on top of emails and everything whilst I was away, but I did come back to quite the mountain of work to do. But excitingly, if you remember back to last episode, we received finally our new van. And today I want to show you guys it because I've been doing some work on it over the weekend and it's looking pretty good. So let's get it outside and I can tell you a little bit more about what I was doing on the weekend. There she is, and she is looking insanely shiny. Like, that is insane. It's like an absolute mirror. So on the weekend just gone, I spent the majority of the weekend cleaning that thing up and getting its paint looking good. Because would you believe it, brand new from factory, that paint was in a bad state. I'll put some pictures on or some videos on screen now so you can see exactly what I mean. Like as soon as I saw it when I first got back into the UK, I just knew it was not that good. So spent the weekend with a machine polisher, polishing the whole thing, decontaminating it and making it look really shiny because I want to look after our kit. I want it to look good and I want it to represent us. And when you rock up on site, I want to leave that impression that we care about what we have and we're, you know, smartly dressed and everything looks good, but also it's an investment. It's an expensive piece of kit and I want to look after it. But damn, she looks good now. But as I mentioned before, this particular van has a feature that is amazing and there's a massive reason why we bought it. It's got your standard 2 seats in the front, but it also has this contraption. So for those of you who've been following for a while, you'll know that this van replaced our Mitsubishi, which was a standard SUV, you know, family car, whatever you call it. But for us, it was useful because it had 5 seats and a big boot to carry lots of kit, whilst also being low enough to fit in multi-story or underground car parks. The reason why we got this is because it can achieve all of those things and more. So as you can see right now, this bulkhead is up and there is an enormous boot back there, which means for the majority of shoots where it's just a 2-man crew and there's a lot of kit, perfect. However, if you ever have a reason, which we do fairly often, to require more than 2 crew and a load of kit in a safe, secure environment, check this out. Here's where I bugger it up on camera. And voila, you now have 5 seats. Unbelievable. Just like that, it's now a 5-seater with plenty of room and it's just perfect. Like look at the boot. Still absolutely enormous and can fit plenty of kit. And then when you need it, you've got all of that space. So yeah, it's an absolute game changer for us, a wicked investment, and it's going to serve us incredibly well in partnership with our big van, which is obviously still for the big shoots with big crews and big kit. So that's the new van. I hope you like it as much as we do. Can't wait to get it out on its first few projects, but before then there's just a few little things that we need to get done so that it is ready for the road, including a dash cam, some more ply lining. It is ply lined in the rear, but they didn't do the bits at the front where the sliding doors are, and I just have a fear of any piece of kit or whatever it is sliding around and then knocking a dent outwards and then, you know, ruining the look of the van. And then the last thing is the rear lip, like where the top of the rear bumper sits, is kind of protruding out, and I can just see an accident happening where someone's unloading a case or something like that and it just nicks the bumper. So what I've done is I've ordered a rubber cover to go over that lip of the rear bumper to protect it from any damage in the future. Once that's all done, I think that vehicle will be ready for the road and ready for its first projects. I have driven it already. It needed to go to get a few bits done, and I used it for a site visit last week as well, and it's really nice. It is a really nice van. It's obviously the new shape. We had one of those. We had the same van as this as our first van, but it was in the previous shape, which was really nice. But they have definitely had a nice little upgrade. And as far as I understand, in essence, it's a Volkswagen Caddy, which is cool, really cool. Anyway, enough van stuff. Let's get into this week. So this week it's one of our quietest weeks in a little while, which is nice. It's not a shoot heavy week, and it's not anything heavy really. It's just very big on post-production. Obviously, we've done a lot of shoots recently, and the guys have a ton of stuff to edit. But speaking of, last week, as I say, I didn't vlog, but I did have the team vlog a shoot last week, which was really cool. So what we'll do is, before we get into this week, let's go back in time and go along with the chaps as they have a shoot down in Bristol.
So today me and Darren are down in Bristol to set up a 2-camera interview. Let's get the trolley loaded and let's get in and start setting up. That's a wrap. It went really well. It looked really nice. We used the Astera tubes as well. We've just got out here now to pack the van. Let's head home and back up.
This week I'm actually working on a quote for a job that we don't tend to do very often, and it is to, in essence, upgrade a studio space for one of our clients. We have in the past built and spec'd multiple studios, which again is a funny thing because it's obviously not a service that we outright offer. It's not on the website that we build studios, but my assumption is just that these clients that have worked with us for other things, obviously video, they just assume that they need a studio built. Who else could do it? It's going to be the guys who work in studios and have their own studio. So they've asked us to do it in the past. But anyway, this client in particular is our actual point of contact. There is someone who worked with us before who had us build one of those studios. He's asked us to help them upgrade a studio that they have in place. So I'm currently in the process of essentially building that out, trying to get quotes for vinyl, drapes, furniture, lighting, cameras, all those sort of things. And then once I've got all that together, I can provide them with an actual quote for all of it. And then we can go through it together and decide what's actually going to go ahead and what isn't, in terms of what they want to spec into their new studio. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I say, it's not something I quote very often, probably once a year, but it is a nice little break, I suppose. It's something out of the norm. This particular studio requires some very large vinyl prints for branding and artwork. So I've been working with our friends over at Sign Logic to get quotes for that vinyl printing. Sign Logic are the guys that did all of our branding and graphics and imagery around our building, which I'm sure if you've seen our videos before, you would have seen at some point. But we'll overlay some footage now as well, just in case you haven't. But yeah, it's a weird one, but I'm excited for it and I'm making my way through. I have sent off a bunch of information for a bunch of quotes. So as soon as I've got that back, we can crack on. And then in other news, I mentioned 4 to 6 episodes ago about some major upgrades that we've got coming to our very own studio. And that is making progress. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a pain with getting quotes, which has been a little bit annoying. Obviously, I wanted to have a quote in place probably a month ago, and it's taken until now to get a quote, and then there now needs to be amendments to that quote because it wasn't quite right. So we're no further ahead, but we are further ahead, if that makes sense. I am tempted to try and get some comparative quotes from other suppliers, but I am also cautious of getting this thing moving because these studio upgrades are going to be a big upgrade for us as a business, being something that we can then generate revenue from, but also upgrade our own productions as well. The intention is to have it as a couple of different sets that can be used by us for product and podcasting space. And obviously we want this to be for us, but also it becomes a hireable asset. So for us, we're turning that empty room, which currently doesn't generate that much revenue, into a room that could generate revenue, which is a really exciting opportunity. I really want to tell you guys more about it soon, but I don't want to tell you too much without knowing how much it's going to cost, because otherwise I could be hyping up something that won't happen, even though I'm fairly confident it will. I'm going to carry on cracking on today and smash through these quotes, and then I have some admin to catch up on. Fun stuff. Welcome to Wednesday. Didn't vlog yesterday. Unfortunately, I needed to be at home to look after my partner. She's not very well at the moment. But we're back in today. And today we've got something pretty exciting happening, actually. I must have talked about this forever ago, probably in December or January, when we were looking at a IT provider to help us with our cybersecurity and systems and infrastructure, and more specifically migrating from Google to Microsoft. For many reasons, but the main one being efficiencies and security. And what's happening today is the IT provider that we've gone with is coming down to our office and is going to onboard all of our devices. So I'm currently going around the building, getting all of the computers on, including, the reason why I'm in the kit room is because we have a kit room computer here, which is for offloading and backing up footage. But we also have 3 laptops, 2 that are for production, so they go on sets with us, or for like on-site edits, on-site backups, anything like that. But then we have one other laptop, which is Hannah's laptop, but she's on maternity leave, so it's just been kept in the kit room in the meantime. So I'm gonna get those set up, and then in probably about half an hour to an hour, the team will be here. And then this is the first phase of the onboarding and migration. I'm not sure what the other phases are, but I know that this is the groundworks where we essentially onboard all of the machines onto their systems so that they're able to manage them. And then I think there is the whole migration part of it is quite heavy. That's where we have to quite literally migrate all of our data and documents and files and everything from Google to Microsoft, which is some mad tech wizardry that I will leave to them. But yeah, let's get these laptops set up and get everything ready. And here we are, ending the day where we started. Super heavy admin day, but a good day nonetheless. All of our computers and laptops are now onboarded onto the new systems. Not fully migrated over from Google to Microsoft yet, but the foundations are in place. And then towards the end of the month is when the full transition migration will happen, which is really exciting stuff. And I'm intrigued to see how it goes. None of us have used the Microsoft platform before, so like Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, etc. So it's going to be a big adjustment for us, which is weird, but we're laying down the foundations for the future. It was best to do it now whilst the team is at the size it's at, than to do it years away when the team's a lot bigger and it becomes a lot more complex. We've also got another upgrade coming to this building, and this is a quality of life upgrade. I'm all about quality of life upgrades. I want to make this a wicked place to work and a comfortable place to work, and this particular upgrade is more on the comfort side as well. We're officially going to be getting air conditioning throughout the building, which is an awesome upgrade. Right now we've got just like the typical central heating, and there is one aircon unit in the ceiling upstairs, but it was put in before the building was extended, so it's not powerful enough or capable enough for the size of the room upstairs. But there was never any air conditioning in the rest of the building, like here, which is the studio. In essence, there's 2 reasons behind this. 1 is comfort, but 2, it's cost saving over time. So it's a lot cheaper, and I mean a lot cheaper than our current solution, which is a oil-based heating system. So we have to order like 1,000 litres of oil, probably twice a year, to power the heating system, which is, you know, costly and not great for the environment either. So these are all positive things for us to be doing. So that's great. That'll be installed next week, which is just in time because obviously we're in June now, and I assume it's going to be getting a lot warmer very soon as well. There are some other upgrades as well. I've been talking about this for a while, but I don't want to tell you guys about them just yet because they're still in the final stages of being kind of finessed. I'm waiting for another quote. Once I've got those, I can make my decision and then I can tell you more about it. But this room right here, as you know it, is going to be changing quite a bit, and I'm very excited for it. But it doesn't stop there. The garage, where we keep the van through there, is getting quite a big upgrade as well. I'll tell you guys more about it in a future episode, and by future I mean very soon, because the upgrades to the garage are happening in 2 weeks time. Again, not on my bingo card, and it's a very random one, but there's some good reasons behind it which I'll break down in that video. For now though, time to go home. So I'll see you tomorrow for another day of hard work at the office. God, that is atrocious. I wonder how many takes we've got of me fluffing my hair. Welcome to Thursday. I'm actually, for the first time in forever, making a coffee. So whilst I make my coffee, I'll tell you guys about my day. Oh, before that though, I actually was thinking about it this morning on the drive into work. Last week's episode, we told you about Darren and Sam were heading down into Northampton town to visit the premiere of our short film project that we shot earlier in the year. And as you saw in that film, we can now reveal the film is about knife crime. And it was in collaboration with West Northamptonshire Council. What I'd like to do now is show you guys the video. Because obviously we put a horrendous amount of effort into it and we're really proud of it and what it stands for. And I think it'd be really nice to put it in this video and get your opinions, and hopefully you love it. So we'll cut to that now, and then we'll come back to me making a coffee.
You can't do that.
Not my problem, mate. I'm going down. I'm winning this thing.
I've got this. Wait, no, how'd you do that?
Just skills, mate. Really something you've never seen before.
Right there. Come on. Literally right behind you.
No. No.
Oh, yes, get in. So what was that about skills? Thanks, mate. No, did you seriously buy that again? What's your problem, right? Don't hate till you try it.
Mate, behave. It's mid at best.
No, this right here is elite. You just got no taste.
Wait, are you ready for the exam tomorrow?
Nah, but I'll wing it.
Wait, did you do that last time?
And I aced it, didn't I? Pass it here.
Are you going to drown your food in mayo again? Oh wait, my food's not that bad, is it?
I'm not getting involved.
On second thoughts, let's have some.
Did you hear about what happened to Jay?
Nah, what do you do?
Man thought he could chat back to Miss Davis. He sent him straight out.
Ooh.
And he was in detention for a week. You think she's so good? Oh!
So there we have it. We can finally talk about and share the big project that we spent a great deal of time working on back in, I think it was March, which is crazy to say now, like we're in June. Super happy with that, and now we can finally begin promoting it and releasing content surrounding it, including the behind the scenes documentary, which is close to done. Can't wait to share that with you guys. Honestly, whenever we do a big project like this and we do a big behind the scenes documentary, that's low-key my favorite part. It's so cool. But otherwise, we've also got a testimonial from the client, a bunch of other like short pieces and behind the scenes stills and videos, reels, etc. So being able to begin to post that will be super nice. Right, so let's get into today. It's another admin day, but this is an important time of the year. This week and next week, I am doing pretty much the whole team's annual reviews, which for me, as a young, relatively new like boss, business owner, has always been like a really nerve-wracking part of my job. It's a tough thing. You're having to deeply analyze someone and their performance and discuss that with them and try and figure out the steps to point them in the right direction, and obviously discuss progression and where they want to go and how I can best support that, and life at the company. Is there anything that's troubling or challenging? What could be better? Is there something that's just like constantly annoying, like a system or a process? And obviously there's the discussion around pay and all those things as well. So it's just like, it's quite a heavy responsibility. And I've always found this to be particularly hard. It's just, it's something that I don't know, I always find challenging. After I've made this coffee, I will be getting my head down on essentially writing I guess you could call it a report for the meeting. And then I have the first one later today, and then I have another one tomorrow, another one on Tuesday, another one on Wednesday next week. So there's loads of admin associated with that to get done. But yeah, that's a big part of this week and next week. But as well as that, I'm also beginning today the prep for our new behind the scenes videographer, Louis, who starts on Monday next week. So that's just preparing essentially everything for his first day. So getting him obviously signed on to our systems, emails, everything around that essentially, obviously from a software point of view, but also planning out his first day. So there's like a very thorough and proper onboarding, as it were. You know, bring him up to speed so he knows the full picture of the company, where it's going, how he helps it, just to put his best foot forward and give him the best chance of success as quickly as possible. So that'll be today and tomorrow. I'll be doing that. But that's really exciting. I'm actually genuinely excited about that. And after the last recruit, which was Darren, I feel like that was my best onboarding ever. But when I was prepping for his onboarding, I realized at that point in time that onboardings were something that I had not put enough attention and time into in the past. Like I just didn't take them seriously enough. And then after I did Darren's, which was really thorough and I had like a good day plan, it was good. It was really nice. So I want to do that again. And obviously I'll take a lot of what I learned from that. I can obviously tailor certain pieces of it to the role of the given person. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. Welcome to Friday and a return of the car cam. A little bit of a late start in the office this morning. I actually had a client, or rather I guess a potential client meeting. What I think is like really cool about it is the potential client is a person that I met probably about 10 years ago. Back in the day, I used to be really big into I still am to be fair, but I used to be really big into my cars, and I had like a cool little Mini. I made a lot of friends within the local car community. Basically, this person was within that car community, and I think it's just crazy how all these years later, in their professional career, when they thought about needing content, they thought of me. Obviously, we've kept in touch through social media and such over the years, but I just think that's pretty cool. So yeah, it was, like I said, it was a good meeting. I'm going to put together a little bit of a proposal early next week, and fingers crossed we'll end up doing the job for them, which would be really nice. Otherwise, yeah, heading into the office today is all about prep for Louis, who's joining us on Monday. So I'm going to be building out his first day sort of, I'm going to call it a checklist. It's not for him, it's more for me. It's just like all of the things we need to go through the onboarding. But also today I'll be getting his uniform. Obviously, if you guys have been following for a while, you know that from late last year, we had a big problem in trying to find our new uniform, which I'm actually wearing right now. Is that actually off centre?
Slightly to the left, I would say. It does actually look like it to me.
It's off centre? Oh no. It is off to the left. That's definitely to the left a little bit. You can see the way it's kind of, I know it's a big embroid for a t-shirt, but maybe it's just not right. But we've got a supplier now, so it was so easy. This time I just sent them an email and said, I need 2 more of those, 1 more of those, whatever, and then they've just put it through and done it, and then I can go collect it today. So that's really good news. It's nice to have an employee start and be able to be like, right, here you go. And that's what I wanted for Darren, but it just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But I'm glad that we've got on top of it now, which is super nice. Otherwise, it's just a standard office day for me. The chaps are smashing through their post-production. We've got so many edits on at the minute. Obviously, we've had a very large load of shoots over the last sort of month or so we're chowing through that. But we've had a bunch of edit-only projects as well as motion graphics projects. So the guys are just making their way through all of that and keeping on top of things there. Today, I've got a couple of meetings. One with another prospect, which is quite exciting. They're quite a big company. I won't tell you too much right now because obviously it's a first discovery meeting or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I'll keep you guys updated anyway. This week has just been a week of just getting back on the horse for me, but also putting the things in place for the future. So there's office upgrades. Obviously, I've told you about the air conditioning, but there's a few others as well on the way. I'll let you guys in on where we're at with the studio. So about I think it was between 6 to 8 weeks ago, I said about how there's going to be some big upgrades coming to our studio that I didn't want to tell you guys about because I didn't want to say too much without knowing what the price was, because it may not happen. Where I'm at now is we're 6 to 8 weeks later, and that supplier that I'd gone to just hasn't delivered a quote to us at all, really. Like, there has been a quote, but it just missed out like almost all of the things that we wanted. So obviously it wasn't a quote that represented our needs correctly, so it didn't, it's not actually representative of anything. It's not the right price. So this week I looked at a couple of alternative suppliers, and I've given them calls, but now they need to come and visit us to see what it is we're after, because it's a niche thing. It's something that for them is probably a weird request, because ultimately it's a film set. If it was a real life thing, it would be made differently, but because it's for a film set purpose, it's got to be modified, and it's different. So it's useful for them to come in. We have been quite productive about it, or proactive rather, and we've actually created some 3D models of what we're looking for, and gathered mood boards and materials and things, but I still think it's best, and they agreed it's best for them to come in, and then they can really get to grips with what it is we're after. So I'm hoping for that to happen, but this week's just been about, like I say, getting back on the horse and making sure that things are moving. So trying to start the process for all of these new things, including little things like the van. I've booked in to get the dash cam installed, and it feels like a big week of maintenance, essentially, like getting things started and pushing this here and doing that there. Those weeks happen, and you need to do those. Obviously, more often than not, those things are just happening throughout the year anyway, but this week it just seems like that is the week. It's the week of making things happen. So yeah, anyway, enough rambling. I'm gonna get to the office, get a coffee. I'm back on the coffee grind now. The coffee I had yesterday was actually really good, so I'm kind of like excited for a coffee today. Gonna get to the office, have a coffee, and start smashing through today's tasks. It's Saturday, and I'm down in the kit room because we're starting something that I probably should have started very, very early on in the journey, especially as we became a limited company with, a team and whatnot. And that is, as crazy boring as it sounds, an asset management system. The reason why this has become more urgent recently is because we recently had our insurance renewal. And when we were looking at alternative providers, a lot of them wanted a lot of detail about not just the value of the kit for filming, but every single individual itemized asset that we own, from the bins to the tape on the wall to the speakers on the desks upstairs, even to consumables like bleach, stuff like that. Like, they needed that granular detail, and how much of it is divided between equipment that leaves site for shoots versus equipment that stays on site, IT equipment, etc. So yeah, now we've got a horrendous amount of kit, and we have a horrendously large job of sorting this all onto a official system, which if we'd started many years ago, it would have just been like a slowly building thing. But here we are. It's going to take probably more than a couple of months worth of weekends. Today's the start of it, but this is something I've wanted to do for a long time anyway, because I wanted a way for us to manage our equipment on the filming side in terms of being able to quickly generate kit lists for shoots, have like a barcode scanning system so we can scan equipment in and out of the business. But yeah, that's today. So without further ado, let's begin with the kit room. Locking up now and finishing up at the office to go and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Really happy with the progress we made this week. We've kind of lined up a lot of pins and laid a lot of foundations for many future things, be that client projects, but also things that we've got going on here in the office and in the team, which is really exciting. Very chuffed with the progress me and Abby have just made with the asset tracking. It's going to be a big job for sure. We've just been kind of discussing that, and it is quite the mountain because it is so intricate down to every detail. Like, we're going to have every single item we own, as I say, literally from the bins to the sofas to the cameras, everything in between. But it's the item, the quantity, the serial number if applicable, the value of it, the original invoice, pictures of it, like it's very detailed. But once this is done, it'll be very easy to maintain and then continue to add things on in the future. And it should benefit us from an insurance perspective. And should the worst ever happen, we'll be covered. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in next week's episode. Louis, our new behind the scenes videographer, started with us yesterday. Loads of tech issues with Sam's machine, which I hate so much.